Very good evening and assalamu alaikum to all our viewers who have just joined into question time on Islam with your host Naveed Hussain. Alhamdulillah, giving us great pleasure to have our Islamic scholar Syed Muhammad Musawi with us this evening once again to answer any questions, any comments, or anything that you would like to share with our Islamic scholar. And inshallah, he will do his utmost best to answer your question. Sayyidina, a very good evening to you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May Allah bless you and all our brothers and sisters, and may Allah grant all of us more light in our hearts and minds, and grant us more courage and more tawfiq to be always on the right path and keep our life always with Ahlebait alayhim assalam, not only in this life, but also and most importantly hereafter.
Inshallah. Yeah, man. Thank you very much indeed. Sayyidina, as you know that we have started the days of Ayam Fatimiyya, as they are called. Sayyidina, number one, why are these days called Ayam Fatimiyya? What is the significance? Because we believe there are different narrations as to when the Lady of Light, the Lady of Heaven, passed away or was martyred, you can say, in other words, from this world. So what is the significance of Ayam Fatimiyya in Islam? And why should we observe these very important days?
Starting with the importance of Fatima alayhi salam in Islam. Fatima alayhi salam is the best lady among all the human beings. No lady in the history had the greatness that Fatima alayhi salam has. As we all know that there are great ladies in the history of mankind, like Lady Mary. And Lady Mary was mentioned in Quran in many verses that Allah has selected Maryam over all the women of her time. We also have in the history a very pious lady by the name of Asiya, who was the wife of Fir'aun, such a bad and arrogant and wrong type of person. But she was a very pious lady who kept her iman, challenging the tyranny and the arrogance of her husband. And ultimately, she was being murdered, killed by her husband, Fir'aun. And Allah mentioned in Quran that He granted her a home in paradise. Also, we have got the great lady Khadija alayhi salam, the first and best wife of the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings be upon him and his holy progeny. We have the greatest lady, who is Fatima alayhi salam, about whom the Prophet said that whatever pleases Fatima pleases me, and whatever displeases Fatima displeases me. Anyone who annoys Fatima has annoyed me. Anyone who hurts Fatima has hurt me. And anyone who hurt me has in fact hurt Allah. The great status of Fatima in Islam is unfortunately not yet understood by majority of Muslims. This is a very sad fact. As till today, majority of Muslims did not understand the greatness of Quran, and they look at Quran as a holy book. That's it. Without understanding that Quran has got the light which guides us to the real and successful and peaceful life forever, not only in this short worldly life. As people did not understand Ahlebait. Imagine when the Prophet clearly said that I am leaving behind two most important things that you will never go astray as far as you keep following both of them. Quran and my progeny Ahlul Bayt. Unfortunately, majority of Muslims have left both of them, left Quran in the teachings of it. Means even if some of them read Quran or even memorize Quran, but as far as following the teachings of Quran, majority are far away. Quran teaches us the noble life, but many Muslims, they live very far away from the teachings of Quran, and they look at Quran in a very wrong way. They look at Quran as a book which is not required, but only when someone dies. Or some people think that it is a book which is used in istikhara, but as a book of guidance to guide us in our life, how to live, how to deal with others, how to deal with ourselves, how to worship our Creator. No, no. Quran was being kept aside, as Allah has mentioned in Quran, وقال الرسول يا ربي إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. In the day of judgment, Allah would say, oh my Lord, my ummah has kept Quran aside. They did not follow Quran. Exactly same. Majority of the ummah left Ahlul Bayt aside. They did not understand the greatness of Ahlul Bayt, and they did not take Ahlul Bayt as their real leaders. Practically, you see that millions of Muslims in their day-to-day religious acts, Shariat, they don't take from Ahlul Bayt. They take from X, Y, Z. And they know that Ahlul Bayt have given answer to every question in life according to Shariat. But they don't take Shariat from Ahlul Bayt. And even those who believe that Ahlul Bayt are to be followed, not all of them take everything in their life from Ahlul Bayt. Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam is the source of guidance of every Muslim. But people are not really understanding the greatness of Fatima and the role of Fatima. Some people think that she is just a daughter of the Prophet, so they don't think that they need to follow her. But Allah in Quran told us clearly that whatever the Prophet tells you, you must take it. And the Prophet told us clearly that Fatima is part of me. She is not a prophet, but she is part of her father. And the Prophet made it very clear that obeying Fatima is obeying the Prophet, which is compulsory on every Muslim. It is not what Fatima does. No, what Fatima wants. You know, the action is something. The intention is more deep than the action. Sometimes someone wants something, but he does not do it for reasons. Whatever Fatima wants is exactly what the Prophet wants, which means that whatever Fatima wants is what is required by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fatima does not say anything from her own or for her own benefit. No, Fatima speaks whatever Allah wants her to speak. She is part and parcel from her father, the greatest prophet, the greatest messenger, the greatest human being created by Allah. So when we say that the greatness of Fatima is yet misunderstood or not understood by majority of Muslim Ummah, the followers of Ahlebait observe the important days of the life of Fatima, her birth anniversary, which is in the month of Jumada, and we observe the martyrdom anniversary, because Fatima alayhi salam, despite being the greatest lady, as the Prophet said, and this is something narrated in even the book of Bukhari, that Fatima is the master, the best of all the ladies in paradise. Best. She is better than Maryam, better than every lady in the paradise. Sayyidatu shababi, Sayyidatu nisa'i ahli al-Jannah, the best of all the females in the paradise. But Fatima alayhi salam had tragic end after her father, and she was martyred. She left this life in very early and young age because of the sufferings that she had. Fatimiyya are the days that the followers of Ahlul Bayt hold majalis, sermons, gatherings. In these gatherings, they speak about the greatness of Fatima and what are our responsibilities towards Fatima, and what sufferings Fatima alayhi salam has suffered from, and she met the calamities after her father. I remember here one of the very prominent Sunni scholars by the name of Alusi. Alusi was a Sunni scholar who wrote a very famous book of tafsir by the name of Ruhul Bayan. In that tafsir, Alusi narrated that Fatima has faced immediately after the passing away of her father tragedies which made her say, صبت علي مصائب لو أنها صبت على الأيام صرنا ليالي. That Sunni scholar himself is admitting that Fatima alayhi salam suffered from calamities, that if the calamities fall on the days will turn into nights. And one of the well-known enemies of Ahlebait by the name of Ibn Taymiyyah, who is the godfather of the Wahhabis, he himself admitted also that whatever calamities Hassan and Hussain met are not greater than the calamities which were being met by their mother Fatima. Imagine, Ibn Taymiyyah himself is admitting that the calamities faced by Fatima were much more than the calamities met by Hassan and Hussain, her two sons. I ask Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, can you tell me, when you know that Imam Hussain was killed by Yazid, son of Muawiyah, Imam Hassan was killed by poison by Muawiyah, tell me the greater calamities of Fatima by whom? Can you explain? Who caused the calamities and the sufferings and the hardships of Fatima alayhi salam? This is from the hidden facts. There are many hidden facts. Many hidden facts. Hidden facts mean the facts that sheikhs don't want or don't dare to explain it to the people. There are thousands of so-called ulama or sheikhs who know what sufferings Fatima has gone through, but they don't speak out. Why? Because when they speak out, the question will come, oh, how come Mr. So-and-so, the leaders of Saqifa, do this against the daughter of the Prophet? So that will open the eyes of people and make them realize what happened, what dangerous deviation took place immediately after the Prophet's passing away. So Fatimiyya days are the days that the followers of Ahlebait hold majalis and remember and try to inform others about the greatness of Fatima and the sufferings of Fatima and the teachings of Fatima, which are the teachings of real Islam. One of the important things that Fatima alayhi salam achieved, she made it very clear that those who have taken over the government through Saqifa, their government is illegal. Yes, Saqifa government is illegal. It is away from Sharia of Islam, away from Quran, away from the Prophet's teachings. Saqifa was not more than a coup. Nowadays, you hear in many countries that 2-3 military leaders make a plot and take over the government. Some of them remain on the chair for number of years. Saqifa is something like a coup, a plot against the teachings of Islam in the name of Islam. They brought rulers away from the divine leadership appointed by Allah and the Prophet. Fatima alayhi salam stood against those rulers. And Fatima alayhi salam did not accept that government and did not give them allegiance at all. Fatima alayhi salam made it clear that the government of Saqifa is not real government according to Quran and the Prophet. The dates of the martyrdom of Fatima are different, and that is something usual. Even the date of the passing away of the Prophet himself, we have got many dates. In Sunni books, many dates. In Shia books, many dates. And also the date of the martyrdom of Fatima, many dates. No harm at all. We keep on remembering this greatest lady, and more we remember the Prophet and his holy progeny, Ahlebait, more benefits we will get for our hearts, minds, and by remembering them, we enlighten our life with the love of the most beloved, obedient servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you very much, Sayyidina, for that beautiful explanation. And indeed, you will have opened up many questions for our viewers. Therefore, I do encourage our viewers to take the opportunity to what our Islamic scholar has just talked about and obviously conveyed about the message. And obviously, this is a very important event that took place in these days. Therefore, do call in, do send in your questions regarding this. I believe we have a caller with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Assalamu alaikum to Maulana Syed.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Regarding the Masumeen, and especially Janab Fatmatul Zahra Salamullah alayha, did Imam Ali perform talqeen on for Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha? Because I thought talqeen is for Ghair Masoom. It sounds very odd that talqeen is performed on Masumeen, because the first word is if I listen and understand. It just, maybe I'm wrong. I just want to know for my knowledge if Maulana can elaborate that, if he doesn't mind.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you, brother, for your question. Thank you. Sayyidina.
Ma'soom has got the knowledge from the previous Ma'soom, which is from the Prophet, which is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma'soom is not like any usual person who needs to be reminded that in Talqeen we say اسمع افهم إذا جاءك الملكان. Ma'soom is Ma'soom, the top, who knows almost everything. Of course we say almost because Allah knows absolutely everything, and Allah has granted from his absolute knowledge the top level of knowledge to the Prophet of Islam. And the knowledge of every Ma'soom, Fatima alayhi salam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain, and other Imams alayhim salam jami'an, their knowledge is from the knowledge of the Prophet. So no question that Ma'soom needs to be reminded about any fact, because the Ma'soom has got all the knowledge which came to the Prophet and then through the Prophet to other Ma'soomin alayhim assalam.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, we'll start going from next question right now. Regarding the Ahmadiyya faith, are they, number one, are they Muslims, and can we eat their food?
Ahmadiyya, or called Qadianis, claim that Ghulam Ahmad, their Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, who was employed in the post office of his area and was supported by the Britishers of that time in India, they claim that he was a prophet after the Prophet of Islam. And this claim is against Quran and against very clear hadith from the Prophet of Islam. The Prophet said, no prophet after me. And Allah in Quran says, وَخَاتِمَ النَّبِيِّينَ, the last of the prophets. So no prophet after the Prophet of Islam. The claim that someone else is a prophet after the Prophet of Islam makes the person non-Muslim, because he goes against a fundamental fact in Quran and in the Hadith. I mean, the Prophet said, no prophet after me. And Allah said that the Prophet of Islam is the final prophet. So this claim makes the person who claims it non-Muslim. And when a person is non-Muslim, then we Muslims are not allowed to eat food touched by such non-Muslim with wet hands. The slaughtered animal is not halal, because one of the conditions that the person who slaughters the animal should be a Muslim. So as far as it is known, at least by myself, that the Sunni scholars and Shia scholars are unanimously saying that anyone who claims a prophet after the Prophet of Islam is not a Muslim.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, next question. Can one break his namaz if an important telephone call comes from the, for example, the health clinic or the GP or pharmacy?
In general, it is haram to break our obligatory ibadah, except in emergencies. while you are praying. You know, the prayer can be obligatory and it can be not obligatory but recommended. The recommended prayer is permissible to be broken, but the obligatory prayer, we are not allowed to break it unless there is an emergency. Say, for example, you are praying any wajib namaz. While you are praying, a child, for example, had an accident and needs immediate help. You will be allowed to break your namaz to help a person, whether a child or old person or any person, to help someone who needs an urgent help. Some of the ulama say that if you are praying and something important took place which needs your attention, you can break your wajib namaz as well, but not all of them. In general, we have to complete our wajib namaz, then attend other things, except in emergencies. Yes.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, we'll move on to our next question. Regarding touching the Quranic text without wudu, please could you confirm if wudu is required before touching the Quranic text on, for example, a mobile or a tablet?
Touching Quranic text directly does need wudu without any doubt. But touching the screen of mobile or tablet or whatever, does it require wudu? The answer is this, that the screen does not have the real writing. The text is not on the screen itself. There's a cover on the text. That cover is not part of the text. That's why many of our scholars say that touching the screen, which is covering the mobile or the tablet, is permissible. But always, precaution is good. Yes,
Thank you
please.
very much, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, are kids allowed to play magic tricks? Like, for example, playing magic tricks with cards or mathematic tricks, for example, mathematics tricks on cards, etc.
Mathematic tricks are allowed, but magic tricks are not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Magic is a major sin. Playing magic, learning magic, teaching magic, helping in magic is not permissible in Islam, because magic is an evil act. And we should not teach our children, or should not even allow our children to involve in something which is wrong and dangerously wrong. It is a major sin. So the parents are not allowed at all to buy magic games or anything which make the child know about magic and play magic at all, because I said that magic is a major sin. Anything related to magic is not allowed.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Next question. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Did Imam Ali alayhi salam do bay'ah to any of the Khulafa?
Burial?
Bayat.
Bay'at means allegiance.
Yes.
Allegiance.
Mhm.
Imam Ali alayhi salam never gave allegiance, bay'at, to any of the rulers before him, the people of Saqifa, the first, the second, and the third. Some of those of the followers of Saqifa claim that Imam Ali alayhi salam, after the passing away of Fatima, he came and gave bay'at, which is completely wrong. Imam Ali alayhi salam never gave bay'at to any of them. The only thing that he said, لَأُسَالِمَنَّ مَا سَلِمَتْ أُمُورُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهَا ظُلْمٌ إِلَّا عَلَيَّ خَاصَّةً. I will remain peaceful. He said, I will not fight for my right. I will not fight for my right. Why? Because he was being clearly told by the Prophet what will happen after the Prophet. And the Prophet told him not to fight against them, because fighting against that group of Saqifa, will initiate civil war between Muslims. And Islam was not, the Muslim society was not very strong yet, and Muslims were surrounded by enemies of Islam, and many people who claim to be Muslims are inside not yet really Muslims. So it was not in favor of Islam to have a civil war between Muslims. That's why Imam Ali alayhi salam did not fight against the Saqifa people, but he never gave allegiance to any of them. Not only that, he never prayed behind any of them. And that is the statement, the admission of very famous Sunni scholar by the name of Al-Dhahabi. Al-Dhahabi, in Siyar A'lam al-Nubala, his book, say that Ali ibn Abi Talib did not pray any Jum'ah namaz and any Jama'at namaz with the rulers of Saqifa at all. No question of allegiance. Allah in Quran says, وَلَوْ اتَّبَعَ الْحَقُّ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ لَفَسَدَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. The truth cannot follow the falsehood. How can people claim that Ali alayhi salam gave allegiance? No, Ali did never give allegiance, never. He just said, I will not fight. As far as injustice is on me only, and as far as the Muslim Ummah is safe. So no question of allegiance at all. Yes, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, in the chapter Qalam, the Surah Qalam of the Holy Quran, Allah admonished the Holy Prophet to be like Prophet Yunus. Was the Prophet ﷺ asked, did the Prophet ask for punishment on his people?
No. The Prophet never asked, the Prophet of Islam never asked punishment on people, because he clearly said that many non-believers and many munafiq, their children or grandchildren or great-great-grandchildren will be believers. And that's what happened. Many of the wrong people, their children or some of their children became very good mu'mineen. The Prophet of Islam did not pray for punishment to be on the Ummah of Islam with all the wrong which happened, all the suffering that the Prophet had from many people. Imagine when the Prophet was in Medina praying Jummah namaz, and the number of the companions in Medina was 3,000 or more or less, about 3,000. Allah in Quran mentioned that they used to be in the masjid praying Jummah namaz with the Prophet. But when the caravan of trade comes near the masjid, they used to make some drums that people know that the caravan of trade has come. Majority of the companions used to leave the Prophet. Leave him. He was giving the sermon, the khutbah. In Quran, Allah said, وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة. When they see a trade or amusement, they run away from you. They leave you standing, giving the khutbah, and they run away. Imagine such act done by how many persons? In Quran, in the hadith, that those who remained and didn't run away remained were only 12. Only 12. That is in Bukhari. In Bukhari, 12 only remained, who are Ali ibn Abi Talib and Al-Hassan, Al-Hussain, Salman, Abu Dhar, Ammar, Hudayfa. 12, only 12. 12 only. The rest ran away. So imagine the sufferings of the Prophet. But he did not pray against them. He didn't pray that, oh Allah, destroy them. No, because Allah told him that these people who were torturing the Prophet, disobeying the Prophet, disrespecting the Prophet, their children will come from their children many. We don't say all their children, no. But among them, good mu'mineen will come out. In fact, just to mention an example, one of the enemies of the Prophet in Medina, by the name of Abu Amr al-Fasiq, that man was the leader against the Prophet, who was trying to destroy Islam and Muslim state by taking help from non-Muslims. That enemy of the Prophet, he went from Medina to the non-Muslim government in Syria to bring an army to Medina to destroy the Muslim state and kill the Prophet. This Abu Amr al-Fasiq, and also known by Al-Kahin, He went, but he died before being able to come back with the army. Such bad person. His son was so good person. His son was one of the martyrs in defending Islam, who is known by Ghasilul Malaika, the person who was washed by ghusl by the angels, because this young mu'min, he had his wedding, and when he was with his wife, before being able to perform ghusl of janabat, he ran immediately to the jihad to fight against the enemies of Islam, and he was martyred while he was in the state of janabat. The Prophet saw the angels giving ghusl to this mu'min, and he called him Ghasilul Malaika. Such a nice person, son of a very bad person. This is just one example. There are many other examples. So the Prophet was the Prophet of mercy, Rasul al-Rahmah, mercy. He never prayed for the punishment to fall on the Ummah. Yes, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, a question regarding Dua Iftitah. I understand there are some rumors floating around regarding its authenticity, origins, and benefits. Could you shed more light on this, please?
Dua al-Iftitah is an authentic dua. And Dua al-Iftitah has got two sides. The side of the chain of narrators, and the other side, the side of the great content itself, the contest itself, the content of it. The narrators, our great ulama, have narrated this dua. And the content itself is an evidence that it is an authentic, because when the wordings of it, if you compare the wordings of it with any talk by anyone, you will find the greatness of it. No one can make such dua, but only the Imam, because the Imam, his knowledge is from the Prophet. So Dua al-Iftitah is authentic with no doubt at all. Some people speak against it because of their ignorance. And ignorant speaks without real knowledge, without enough knowledge. So the mu'mineen should not listen to such people at all. They are people who claim to be understanding and educated and so on, but they are not. In fact, listen to the maraji' of taqleed, who are the most knowledgeable, those who are pious, those who guide people to the right path, to the authentic knowledge. Don't listen at all to those who create doubts. Creating doubt is the business of shaitan and satanic people. But refer to the authentic and pious scholars who will tell you what is the truth. So Dua al-Iftitah is very authentic without any doubt. I think in the past I have given details of the narrators of this dua. If you wanted Again, I can next week, inshallah, mention the chain of narrators narrated by our most authentic scholars.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, moving on, are we allowed to give charity to non-Shia and non-Muslim charities?
It depends on the aim of the charity. If the charity helps people who are hungry, or helps providing drinking water, or helps treating poor patients, any good cause, we are allowed to help in any good cause for any human being who is not enemy of Allah. But some charities do things which are not accepted in Islam, because there are charities who don't only give food, they give beer and alcohol to homeless people. So your charity should not go to provide beer or alcohol to anyone, because alcohol and beer is not accepted at all and not allowed at all in Islam. We as Muslims are encouraged to help any human being, even animals, not only human beings, helping animals. The hadith says, إن في كل كبد حرة ثواب. Helping any being, living being, giving water to animals, giving food to animals who don't have food and hungry, feeding them. Good, very good. But of course, we have to have priorities. If you have at home a hungry child, do you feed him first or go outside and feed someone else? Of course, charity starts at home. Your own community, if you have got no need at all, that's good. In general, giving and helping any human being is good in general. But we have to be fair, not to leave our own children who are in need. As you know, our community people are suffering in many countries, and our enemies are targeting our people in different ways. So we need first to help our own families, our own children, our own sisters and brothers. That does not mean that we don't do charity out of our community. No, we do charity always for every human being. But we should remind ourselves that we should not ignore the urgent requirements of our own children and our own brothers and sisters. Yes, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, can we use acupuncture to help my black magic problem or any jinn issue? The therapist says my pulse shows there is something not right. What other ways does a Shia Muslim help get cured of these problems?
Acupuncture is a way of treatment which is useful to many people, and we have got among our own community some doctors who are specialized in acupuncture, and it is helping a lot of people. But it does not have any link with jinn. Jinn is sometimes an imagination. Some people think that they are being possessed by jinn, or their family think that their son or their daughter or someone in the family is being possessed by jinn. The treatment is not acupuncture or not that medication. No. The treatment of jinn, if really there's jinn, sometimes there's no jinn, it is only imagination. Imagination is imagination. It has no meaning. Maybe the psychiatric can talk to them and to convince them that there is no effect of jinn on you. But if there is really jinn, Allah has showed us in Quran to recite Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, Ayat Al-Kursi, and other surahs and verses in Quran that will help removing the bad act of, or the evil of jinn or anything wrong. So I don't find any link between acupuncture and jinn at all. Go to Quran, read dua, give sadaqah. That will help in getting rid from jinn and any evil act.
Thank you very much, Sayyidina. Next question. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Yes, if a person who is drunk and keeps falling down, are we allowed to help him?
A person is.
So if a person is drunk,
yeah,
and he keeps falling down, are we allowed to help him get up and show him his way?
Yes, yeah. We are allowed to help him and show him his way. You know, if a person needs help to drink, we are not allowed to help him to make him go and drink. Say someone is asking you, where is the pub in the area? Or from where can I get, say, wine shop? We are not allowed to help anyone to drink alcohol or to buy alcohol or to carry alcohol. Say someone needs help to drink, we are not allowed to help him because it is a sinful act. But if a person who already drunk and he needs help to show his way, to go back home or to get the bus to go home, yes, it is allowed to help him in that. Some of our brothers who drive taxis, taxi drivers, they ask that, am I allowed to leave a person to the pub or from the pub? We say, to the pub, no. From the pub back home, yes, you are allowed. So helping people to do wrong thing is not allowed, but helping people to get away from that wrong thing back home is allowed.
Thank you very much for the clarification, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum, is smoking or vaping haram?
Our leading scholars say that smoking nowadays is being confirmed as dangerously harmful. This confirmation was not available before 50 years. Before 50 years or 70 years, the medical doctors and the scientists did not have enough evidence to say that smoking kills. Now they are saying it with confidence that smoking kills. Smoking is a main reason of cancer. So, as it has been confirmed by many leading scientists that smoking kills or causes dangerous illnesses, according to this fact, smoking is not allowed because it causes dangerous and damaging harm. Yes,
Thank
please.
you again for the clarification, Syed. Syed, I was told that before wearing a Feroza ring, I have to ask a scholar and find out if it is suitable for me or not. Is this true?
Not true at all. That is a cultural practice in some countries. In some countries, we don't take our religion from the culture of East or West or South or North. We take our religion from Quran and Ahlebait, means the Prophet and his holy progeny. We don't find in any authentic hadith that before wearing any ring, you should go to someone to calculate your date of birth and mother's name and father's so and so. This is something which has no existence in our authentic evidence. So we should not mix between the culture and religion. We have in our authentic hadiths that wearing rings, Aqeel stone, Feroza stone, ruby stone, all are good and recommended. Good to wear ring. The thawab for your namaz is more, much more if you have ring in your hand. But we don't have evidence that don't wear it before going to someone to calculate and see. No, this is something which is lacking evidence. So it has no importance and no value as far as we read in the authentic hadiths from the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt. Peace and blessing be upon him and them. Yes,
Thank
please.
you very much indeed, Syed. Syed, is it better to prioritize qaza prayers and perform them instead of other mustahab acts?
If you have got qaza of obligatory namaz prayer, it is allowed for you to pray recommended mustahab, recommended prayers, like namaz shab, which is always recommended, always, every night. Like nafila, when you pray maghrib, there is nafila, 2 rak'at and then 2 rak'at. You pray isha, nafila of isha is 2 rak'at in the sitting position. When you pray morning, 2 rak'ats before the morning namaz, like that. But if performing the recommended namaz makes you delay performing the wajib, then wajib qada becomes first. If your recommended namaz holds you from performing the wajib qada, then wajib qada is first. And the reward, the sawab of the qada of wajib is much greater than the reward of mustahab namaz. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Sayyidina. Sayyidina, my father is very abusive and does not miss an opportunity to belittle me. I do everything he expects of me, but I am really worried about how much more I can take. What should I do?
You should be always polite with him. You should always tolerate his abusive tongue or abusive attitude or wrong from his side, whatever wrong he does. In Quran, Allah tells us that if your parents are kafir, وإن جاهداك لتشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا. If your parents try to make you like them, non-Muslims, don't obey them in becoming non-Muslim, but always be nice to them. Imagine if your parents are non-Muslims and they try to make you like them, non-Muslim. Allah tells you, don't become non-Muslim, but always treat them nicely. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Always be with them nice. Do good to them. So you must tolerate. You should be patient. His bad deeds against you, his injustice and wrong against you must be tolerated for the sake of Allah. You will get reward. More sufferings in the way of Allah will bring more reward for you.
Inshallah.
Don't react against him. Don't reply him badly. Don't show agitation against him. After all, he is your father. And the right of the parents are very, very great. No time and no situation we can be allowed to be against our parents who do wrong to us. I mean, don't show them bad reaction for their bad actions. The bad actions from the parents should be tolerated. No bad reaction at all. Yes, please.
Sayyidina, we've come to the end of our show. If you could like to finish off with a few wise words, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let us try to talk to our Muslim brothers and sisters who love Allah and love the Prophet. We need to talk to them about Fatima al-Zahra. Tell them, read little bit about her. Read about her life. Read what she said and how did she behave. Read, you will discover something from her greatness. And when Muslim discover the greatness of Fatima alayhi salam, his eyes will be open. In fact, Fatima alayhi salam, her life, her teachings, her statements, her sermon is light opener for every person, every Muslim who is sincere after the truth. We need to invite all to know more about Fatima alayhi salam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. There's a great dua. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Thank you very much. And with those beautiful words from our Islamic scholar,